Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Soul Sparkle Radio. I'm so excited to be here with you today and also to be joined by my dear friend Paula. Paula is a fierce transformational coach who dedicates her work to help women come back to their true feminine nature so they can create life on their terms. She's the creator of the revolutionary Empowered Woman Archetype System, a powerful tool that you can use as your roadmap for you to access your feminine power in every situation of your life. She guides women individually and in groups on the path to become fully integrated, teaching them how to receive abundantly and with ease. She's also passionate about guiding ambitious women to apply feminine principles in their business so they can live with a passion, purpose, and create long-lasting success. Welcome, Paula.
Thank you.
So glad to have you. Yeah, we've tried to do this for a while, so I'm excited that we finally are capturing your magic today. I'm so excited to have you here. So I'd love to start out our time together with just the same question I asked my guests, and that is, what makes your soul sparkle? Like, what is the thing that lights you up from the inside out?
That I get to choose the way I live my life every day.
I love it. And you get to do whatever you want, and you're the boss of you.
I am the creator, and I own it. And I don't take that lightly. I actually purposefully create the life that I want. And I do the work when I feel blocked.
Right.
To continue to follow my desires, to continue to follow my truth and my soul's purpose, because that's what makes me sparkle.
Well, and I think that's why we were so drawn to each other, because obviously that's exactly what I do as well. So it feels that we're so in alignment in terms of just being able, like we just said, it's so easy to create magic. And I just said, it really is. You just have to decide and choose to do it. And you have certainly created a magical life. Obviously, our lives look very similar yet different, but we're both kind of on that same path to creating exactly what we want. And so I'm excited to have this conversation with you, because I feel like, as women, sometimes it's hard for us to believe that everything is possible for us,
Right.
And so we limit ourselves and we hold ourselves back, when the reality is now is the time for us to be like stepping forth into the next iteration of ourselves and into our light and our work in the world. So I love what you're doing and what you stand for, empowering women to step into their dreams, their work in the world, and you inspire a lot of people to do that. So I love that you're I love the way you are showing up in the world, speaking your truth.
Thank you. More and more. It's always a work in process, but it's in regards to what you're saying about women. Yeah, we never believed it's possible because we were told it wasn't possible. I mean, I'm just watching this Netflix series right now, and it's about women in the 20s.
Wow.
And they had no rights, they couldn't vote at that time. It's just so much. Their husbands ruled their lives. They couldn't have a bank account on their own. They worked, but it was just temporary. It's just, there's so many things that we didn't have. And today, almost 100 years after, we're still we're being so programmed. And so the work is to create what we want and to heal all that, and to get rid of those old beliefs and create new beliefs for who we are today, not for who we were, not for, and I gotta say this, and I'm kind of rolling now, but I wanna share this because it was actually really powerful for me the other day. I watched this episode, and it was intense. It was intense. And I went to the kitchen, and I realized that I've been the whole day, almost feeling this pressure, we do this as women. I had this backpack, and I'm like, what's the reason? There's no reason. Everything is fine. It's self-creation, right? Why am I creating this? And so I'm just talking to Rob, my husband, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this. And so he just looked at me, because we just watched this episode of Women, and he's like, well, could it be because of your mom? And I started bawling in the moment. It's whoa, it hit me, what's going on? And And seriously, I was like, you know, when you're like, you can't stop crying. And I realized that I'm almost like this loyalty that we have as women with our families, with our lineage. It's a lot of what I work with women, because I realized that at a certain level, to realize where women were in the 20s and where we are now. Now I'm realizing, oh my God, like my mom didn't have the same opportunities that I did.
Right.
You know, and she has a pretty amazing life. However, she doesn't have the freedom that I did, you know. Anyway, not to go into it, but I realize how blessed I am. Also, I am creating it. Right. No one has given it to me. They gave me all the resources and the opportunities, but I took them. I did something with it. I created what I'm creating, and I keep moving forward. I'm not stopping, like you, right? Like I'm not stopping. But we do this as women out of loyalty and out of like not getting out of the pack or being afraid to shine too much. We just stay put. We wait for the other to give us the lead. And we don't take it. We don't go with it. And I think that's when we started to betray our own selves.
Right. And I think too, there's been a kind of this societal expectation around who we're supposed to be and how big our life can be and how out of the box or how different. And so a lot of times we don't give ourselves permission to live the way we want to because we're afraid of what everyone else is going to think. Are they going to like me? Are they going to be intimidated? Are they going to like all this stuff, right? Am I going to be judged? And the truth is, what's fascinating to me is, you know, obviously I spend a lot of time with you as much as possible and other women that are not afraid of that anymore. But then sometimes when I'm back in a container or a situation where I'm watching women worry about what they're wearing or what they're saying or, you know, all of the things that I don't even, like, doesn't even cross my mind anymore, right? I realize how we are still, there are so many women that are still afraid to shine. You know, I was with a group of ladies this weekend and one of them said, well, I'm just afraid, I don't want to be too big for my britches. And I don't know if you know what that means because it's a very Southern-ism, so my Southern is showing, but like being too big for your britches is like being bold, living a bolder, braver life because you're afraid of what other people are going to say or think. So you keep yourself small, right? It's like that Marianne Williamson quote. And the reality is, after that comment and a few others just around, you know, insecurity, feeling insecure, it was like heartbreaking because I mean, these are beautiful. Yeah, they're beautiful ladies. They're talented and so gifted, yet they're afraid. And I just, it's so sad to me how that still seems to be such a theme with women today. And so, again, all the more reason why we have to keep doing our work, right? And not being afraid to shine and not being afraid to inspire and encourage, because really we're just shining light for others to follow. Like you said, they're waiting. All right, well then somebody's got to do it. Let's do it. So yeah, it's sad to me that that's still where we are.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I mean, every time, this is what I always say to my clients, and I remind myself with so much compassion and love, because, I mean, it's not like you're just going to get rid of all your belief. It doesn't work that way, right? Like, we still have it. It's still part of our DNA, but it's still part of who we are. However, we don't have to listen to that part, and we don't have to live it in that way, but it's still there. And I feel like, you know, every time we go into a next level, a new level, whatever level that is that you never thought you could go, but you're going because it's happening and it's in your face, you're going to feel that, like that fear of what are they going to say if I do this, and so, you know, the first instinct is going to be, no, let me not put that dress on so I don't shine too much, I don't show too much, let me not, you know, let me just sit in the back and wait and see, it like sort of at the defense, right? And then see. But then inside, instead of just showing up fully or, oh no, I need to make X amount of money in order to be able to go, or I need to be at a certain level in order to go, or I need to have a certain thing, or I need to work with a certain mentor. And this is high school. Like, this is so high school, but it's still there. It's going to, I feel like for me, it's, in a way, it's always, as I keep moving higher into my evolution, not higher that I'm better, but higher in my own evolution, it's less and less and less. But what you don't know, right? And fear will kick in, and all these pieces of fear that make you want to shrink, or they're trying to, right? Fear is trying to keep you safe. Fear is the indicator, not the enemy, is the indicator. Right. So for you to realize, and for you to be your own, because the truth is that everything happens within us. Everything is within ourselves. We need to know our value. No one can give us the value. Our value is not outside of ourselves. It's not about how much money we make. It's not about what body we have. It's not about the status or how many houses or how many blah, 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 how many clients, how many blah, blah. It's not about that. It's about how you feel inside, who you are. Are you living by your values? Are you loving? Are you, do you honor people? Do you respect yourself? Do you respect others? Do you care for nature? Do you care for, like yesterday, oh my God, I had to tell you things that is so silly, but so powerful. We were driving in the highway here in Vermont, where I'm spending the summer, and we're driving, and this turtle, gigantic, like turtle like this, in the middle of the road. And I'm like, stop it, right? And Rob saw it. So we stopped, and I stopped the whole highway to grab the turtle, because she paralyzed, right? She wasn't moving. So I grabbed her, and she started doing that. And I'm like, oh my God. City girl grabbing a turtle and helping her cross the other way. But those are the things. Are you living by your values? Are you doing what you love? Do you wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror, and say, I'm so freaking proud of you?
Yeah. And I don't know that sometimes I don't think people think they're doing enough, especially women, right? Like they're trying to do everything, and it does feel overwhelming, right? And so they feel like they're never enough. Yeah. And I think that phrase is what I was feeling sitting around the dinner table with these ladies. I was like, they don't feel like they're enough. And I just was like, you are more than enough. You are already perfect, right? And the truth is, I feel like we've already started stepping into this new paradigm as women, but I think there's so much more work to do to really allow each other to shine as bright as possible and support each other, right? And not feel like there's this competition or any of that old bullshit that we used to have to deal with, right? The jealousy and the conniving, like backstabby shit. Like that is just, I don't know. I just don't think that that's going to take us into the next iteration. And I feel like allowing ourselves to step into our greatness will just allow other people to do the same thing, right? And so that's what I feel like we need to continue to work on, is just that pure support, like the purest form of sisterhood. Like I want nothing more than for every one of your dreams to come true, right? And this is me talking to you personally and me talking to all of the listeners, is that the more that we allow ourselves to create whatever our magic is in the world, we just continue to give permission to more and more people to do the very same thing. And that feels like the most liberating and spacious freedom that any of us can have, versus feeling like we have to protect and guard, or we're going to be judged, or we're going to be left out. I think there's still that. It does feel like high school. You said that earlier. I was always, and I think you probably were the same, I always kind of I was a hybrid. Like I would spend time with really everybody, just because I was like, well, you're lovely. And everyone was like cool and fun in their own unique way. But I do feel like there's still some wounds and some pain that people had experienced, maybe even that far back in their life. And it continues to show up. So we got a lot of work to do, but.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's time for us to stop giving our power away.
Yes, absolutely.
That's how we give our power away, by not being confident in ourselves, by not loving ourselves, by thinking that others are better than us. And yes, you've learned that. Like we all learned that. We all had these comparison things. We all learned that. And that's why it's important, especially if you are in business, but not necessarily, that you do this work. I mean, I call it the feminine work because it is the feminine wound.
Right.
It is the ancient feminine wound of women being against each other instead of collaborating. The way of the feminine is to collaborate, is to join forces, is to be together, to nourish each other, to it's not about doing it alone. That's not how we work. So whenever you think you have to do it alone, or whenever you feel like, you gotta trust your inner guidance. This is something that I also teach my clients a lot. Like, connect with your inner guidance. Your inner guidance knows. And if you're at this event and these women are going all crazy and like they're making you feel, because that happens. It happened to me so many times. And I remember, this is high school, right? They make you feel that you're not good enough, or like, oh, you don't have the dress enough, or you're not at my level of business. So I've experienced that firsthand in the entrepreneurial communities, which is insane. And I was even taught to do that. I was even warned by certain mentors to do that. Like, what is going on? Like, don't mingle with the women who are, it's less vibration. They're not up your vibration. What are we talking about? Yes. If they're criticizing, if they're doing things that it's not of me, yeah, of course I'm not going to be with them, because that's not who I am. I don't like bashing people. I just don't like that. Do I do it? Yeah, sometimes it slips out. I'm not perfect. But I want to be with women who make me feel better. I want to be with women who help me be a better woman.
Right.
Not to have to like gossip and stuff like that. That's just, it's human nature, but I don't want to be like that. And I prefer to be with women who would, like you, like me, like who are in a different energy, who are conscious in a way that we know, we go and look for our desires, not for what we left out or what we don't have or all that stuff. Yeah. So we need to stop giving our power away.
Right.
And really connect with who we are.
Because if we do look to others for validation, appreciation, acceptance, whatever it is, right? We're consistently not holding our own power and our own value and our own worth, And then when we don't receive that from anyone else, we feel bad about ourselves. And it's like, we're not in our highest and best, and we're not able to serve in the highest and best way when we're constantly spending energy on things like that don't matter and that are exhausting, and then just are not of benefit to anyone, It's a waste of time and energy. So
absolutely. And I love what you just said about the energy. This is something also that is so powerful. One of the highest power tools is energy management.
Amen.
We need to be so conscious about what we do, how we spend our time, who we spend it with, what we spend it on,
right?
What shows we watch on TV, what we do, like who do we connect with, who we hire, who we, who we work with, who, like all of these pieces. And you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes you just have to go through certain things. I've certainly had my own share. Right. But the more you can tune in, like waking up in the morning, connecting with yourself, whether it's meditation, moving your body, whatever you need to do to connect, it's not outside. The outside is the inner reflection of your inner experience.
Amen.
Yep. The outside is the reflection of your inner experience. That's the truth.
Yep.
So anything that's happening on the outside is the mirror of what you still require or need to work on yourself to be more of who you are and live truly. Like, we were talking at the beginning. Then you can make the decision based on your truth. You can go gypsy around the world. I can do gypsy around the state for right now.
Yep.
So gypsy life, like create your life. Create the life that you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think too, realizing that it's not just for some people, it's for everyone, right? It's available to all of us. And I think that's why I love being able to even do this podcast, because it's like, I want to share stories of people that have created things, and it hasn't always been that way, right? Like, my life has not always been like this, you know, and I want to make sure people always know that, because sometimes it's easy to look in a moment in time and think, wow, you must be lucky, or you must be this, or you must be that. It's like, no, there actually is a huge curve, a learning curve, and sadness, suffering, and all the other things that have to happen to get you to a place where now you can step into the life that you've been dreaming of. And I think you had a very similar, right? Yours hasn't been an easy journey, but intentional and very thoughtful about what you wanted to create. And now this is the most beautiful iteration of your life that you've experienced, because you've had it in your mind and you've been working towards it for such a long time. So I just want to encourage all the listeners to know that it is possible. The life that you've been dreaming of is available to you. And don't give up, because it took me like 10 years to get to be this, and to be able to do life this way, you know? And it
took me 18 years.
Yeah.
It was since my ex-husband left me. I was 25. And I was like devastated. I was on my knees every night. I wouldn't eat. I would cry all day. I was so lost, because I created a life that everyone wanted of me, but it wasn't my life. That's when it hit me that I'm like, oh my God, I've been living a lie. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I can't believe it. Besides the fact that my heart was broken, the other brokenness that I had was to realize that I never really lived my life.
Right.
And that's a huge, huge awareness, and a huge, something to look into. And I love what you say about this piece of, you can look at us today and think that we've done it. And there's so much more to create, it's not like, like where, oh my gosh, there's no destination really. It's the beautiful journey that we get to constantly explore. But I do want to say this. I think it's powerful. And I also teach this to my clients that I remind myself. Jealousy, when we feel jealous about somebody else, or like, oh, I want that, but I can't have it. Just know that you don't have it yet. Right. Jealousy is the indicator of your desire calling you.
Yeah.
It's your desire calling you. It's not that you can't have it. It's like you don't have it, but that's the whole point. Now you know what to go for. Now you see it. It's being revealed to you in your face. Oh my gosh, that's what I want. And then you check in with yourself, and then you go, okay, is this what I really want? And then you go with the masculine. So that was the feminine work. Then you go with your masculine. Okay, so how can I? What do I need? How do I need to go moving towards this desire? This is how I create my life. Anytime I want something, and every time I see someone, I never thought that I would buy a home in Vermont, and it was so easy. Within 3 weeks we closed. It was just easy. Why? Because I just connected with my desire. Desire energy is so powerful. So powerful. But then any negative emotions that we have, any like, oh, I'm not good enough, or all of that, they're indicators. It doesn't mean that that's true. It means that there's something waking you up. It's your call, like kicking you in the butt a little bit, just for you to see, to go and move higher into the levels that your soul is wanting to be expressed.
Yes. All of that. I love it. And I also think too, what you said about when you were 25, you had created a life that everyone else wanted. So going back to that for a second, I did the exact same thing, right? And all of a sudden I'm like 30, totally miserable. And I'm looking around thinking, whose life am I in? This is not the life that I was dreaming of, right? So I want to make sure that we reiterate the fact that, like, it took me 40 years. I mean, I'm 43 right now. And it took me a long time to give myself permission to do this life that I'm in, a long time. I would love to help, like, consolidate the suffering, like make it as tiny and short as possible. So maybe when you're like 22 or 3, right? If you're young.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
Like if you gave yourself permission right then to just do exactly what you wanted to do, right? Like I remember for me, I was in college and everyone is starting like to pair up and get married and all this stuff. And I was like, I want to go to the Peace Corps. Like, that's what I really want to do. Like, I really want to go travel the world and do all this. And I didn't allow myself to do it at that time. And instead, I got married to the doctor. I got the big house and I did all the stuff that I was supposed to do. And I ended up miserable, you know? And now it took me all that time to unravel that life and then create something completely that looks exactly like me. I mean, there's not a day now that doesn't look exactly like the fullest expression of myself and my soul, right?
And if it's not going that way, you course correct and you change it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I now, you know, I used to think I would fail, like whether it be a relationship or marriage or whatever. But now I just realize that anytime things don't work out, they actually are. They're actually working out in our highest and best, always, in all the ways. And now it no longer feels like a failure or whatever. It literally is just like, no, just a redirection. Yes. Just a shift to get me back right on the track that I needed to be on. And so if any of you are listening and feeling like you're in a place where things are just not working, right? And it doesn't feel like it's flowing, just allow yourself to cross over, right? Like get through that piece, knowing and trusting that things always work out for us. And wherever you're being led is exactly where you're supposed to be, and not judge yourself for it.
Right. That's my mantra. Everything always works out for me. Yeah. Like it doesn't matter. And that's the surrender energy. You know, we think that if we surrender, we're giving up. It's not that, you know, it's really allowing the space for the universe to show you. And it's like the GPS. If you make the wrong turn, the GPS is going to make sure that you get to your destination. You might need to turn around. You might need to take another route, right? But you are going, and I'm not saying destination, but where you want to go at that moment. And then there's another moment that opens up. And then if we start living life that way, knowing that there is no wrong, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong. So that what you're calling, what you're saying, and I want to bring this up because I think that it'll help also women understand. At least that's why I created it, because that helped me. Mostly when you're talking about doing the right thing and living the right life and doing what everybody wanted and pleasing everybody, that's the good girl syndrome.
Right.
The good girl does everything for everybody. Right. She wants everyone to be happy. She doesn't think of herself because she feels she's selfish if she does. So she does what others would approve because she also wants to be loved, and she thinks the only way to be accepted and loved is by doing what others want.
Right.
Like what happened when you get out of the pack, when the wild woman shows up and does whatever she wants and lives a gypsy life. Yep. Oh my God, did you hear that? Did you hear Haley doing that? Oh my God, I can't believe it, right? Like if you get out of the pack, out of the norm, then you're going to be pointing fingers at, being judged, criticized. The good girl cannot take that, cannot conceive that at all. Yeah. The problem is that then you start feeling off.
Right.
And you fall into victim, right? And you're like, why is it happening for others and not for me? Why is everybody doing it and I'm not? Why? In the meantime, and you're like, why am I working so hard for? Why am I doing all this for? Why? Right? And then that's when it clicks and you're like, oh my God, like what's going on? Now you're so trapped that you have no idea what to do, and you feel so powerless because you just gave all your power away to everybody and you don't know how to claim it back because no one taught you. And what if you open your big mouth now? What are they going to say?
Yep. More judgment.
Right. So what happened? Right. Exactly. Judgment. So then the bitch comes out to save the day, and there's like, F that. I'm going to do my thing, blah, blah, blah. And then now we go into that kind of like, close your heart. Yeah. No, I don't care what you say. But then, you know, and it's more of a destroying energy. It's not like gypsy energy that you do, you know, that's the wild woman energy. She destroys, she closes her heart, and she covers, right? Like you're in the defense, you're in the trenches, you're the defense.
Yeah.
when you're in bitch mode and you react instead of respond, you're not loving because you're hurt.
Right.
Like an animal, when it's hurt in nature, you can't get close to it, right? Similar. And you're right, and you're kind of like, what is it, licking your wounds, right? You're looking at people and like, oh, she did that. And no, you did it. We did it because we didn't allow it. Like you say, you didn't give yourself permission.
Yeah.
But then we feel guilty of being there too. Yeah. We feel bad for being so like angry all the time, and we don't know what to do. And so then, you know, some of us go to good girl again because we feel guilty, and some of us stay in bitch mode, which is sad.
Yeah, it's really
because
sad.
I think the world is against us.
Right. And then everyone misses out, right?
Everyone, you first, but everyone misses out. You close your heart, you don't let anyone come near you, then you feel alone. You eat ice cream in your, watching Netflix at 2 a.m, and you feel like horrible about yourself because you just never knew. But the thing is that you never knew. So the salvation is the wild woman. You know, the wild woman is the one that lives this life, that she loves adventure, she's bold, she's unapologetic. And when you can call this part of yourself who honors, she stands for freedom.
Yes.
The wild woman, she trusts herself so deeply. And she wants to connect with the things that make her feel good. Yes. Sexual, pleasure, fun, joy, adventure. She can wake up tomorrow, like you, like me, and go to France. You know, it's like, it's fun. Why not?
Why not?
You know? Or just go and do, like, you create your life moment by moment by moment.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
The wild woman is the shit. The wild woman is her. And also then to create a successful business, a successful relationship, you know, whenever you want to reintegrate yourself to wherever you are, you need the good girl, because the good girl is the one that has that, you know, the wild woman just does whatever she wants, which is fine. But in order to sustain things in your life, you need that balance. So I just wanted to share this because when I kind of discovered it, and every time I share this, either in a conference or in, you know, online or whatever, women are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. This is so as a roadmap, you know, like at least you know where to fall and what you need, right?
Yeah, I think too, when you're in the wild woman energy, it's almost like you no longer care really what other people think of you, which again creates, and it's not that you don't love people and you care, but you don't care how they feel about how you're doing your life. Yeah.
So the outside is no longer
no longer matters.
Right.
Yeah. And I think for me too, it did take me a long time to get to that place of like, but I'm supposed to have a house, I'm supposed to have a husband, I'm supposed to have the kids, and I'm supposed to have all the shit, right? And I'm like, well, here's the thing, I did all of that. I've already done all of that, right? And this is the happiest I've been in as long as I can remember, because I'm giving myself permission to do exactly what I want based on my desires and my truth, right? And I think if more and more and more and more of humans can give themselves permission to no longer care what other people think, because it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what other people think, because at the end of the day and at the end of your life, their expectations and their obligations and all of these projections, that's going to be on them, and you're going to be the one that misses out on all the joy and possibility that you can create because you were so busy listening to everyone else, right?
Well, you were so busy doing. You were so busy pleasing, but you are the one at 2 a.m. with a pint of ice cream watching Netflix.
Yeah.
Feels miserable. That's you.
Yeah.
They don't see that. No one sees that. You see that. So that's what needs to shift. It's the other way around. How about I see myself as the happiest, more radiant, gorgeous, beautiful self.
Yep.
that lives that life every day at every given moment. And when I feel like I'm falling into all patterns, I can course correct and choose differently, because that's my power. That's your power. That's everyone's power.
Yes.
How about that?
I love it. Okay, let's all do that from now until the end of time. And because that's really what the magic is, right? Like that's really when it gets like really, really good and exciting, and just like you just can't not be excited about your life when it just looks so much like you. You know, it's interesting. I read Eat, Pray, Love. A lot of you guys have probably heard of Elizabeth Gilbert and Eat, Pray, Love, and that really was a huge inspiration for me to be doing my life in this way, to be honest. And I remember reading in the book, plus her story just really resonated with me, because I remember you talking about 2 a.m, Netflix and whatever. There's a scene in that book where she talks about being on the bathroom floor in the middle of the night, sobbing, because she's like, this is not my life. This is not the life I've been dreaming of. And she had basically done the same thing that I did, right? And really got into a position where she couldn't recognize herself or her life anymore. And so it's those moments of truth where you just go, this is no longer okay with me. I'm no longer okay settling for this life that doesn't suit me, or that doesn't light me up, doesn't make my soul sparkle, right? So if you're listening and you're in a place where you're on the bathroom floor in the middle of the night, or eating ice cream and watching Netflix, and you're not lit up and turned on by your life, then hopefully this episode will give you the inspiration and a bit of courage to make changes, you know? And it doesn't mean that you have to put your things in storage and go on Operation Gypsy. It doesn't have to look anything like mine, because we all have our own definition and our own life that we've been dreaming of, and they all look very different, you know? So
mine looks different, but I still feel like a gypsy.
Yeah, well, because you have freedom. So that's the difference.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. Because you can, whether you do it or not, whether you use it or not, you have the possibility of it, right?
Yes.
And that
you can use it at the flick of your fingers at any time. You can do it at any time. Tomorrow, I can actually take a plane and follow you, go to Europe, and meet you in the south of France. I can do that. Would I do it? Probably not, because I choose other things right now at this moment.
You're going to meet me there later.
Huh?
You're going to meet me there later.
Yeah, later.
Yeah, later.
Right? Mm-hmm. So, exactly.
Yeah.
That's knowing that.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because yesterday my friend was here and we were talking about, she's like, well, people think you must just be like a millionaire, or you have a trust fund, or you've got, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so cute and so not true. Right? But the truth is, I intentionally designed my life for freedom. That's all. That's all.
You're the highest representation of a wild woman, darling.
Yeah. But I planned it intentionally for like a decade, very responsibly, very good girl, right? I'm not one of those that like, I'm just going to quit my job and just go travel and put it all on credit cards. That's like crazy making for me.
Crazy making. Women, stop doing that. Stop
doing that.
Yeah.
So I literally I knew, I was like, okay, I'm going to cut my expenses in half. I'm going to live on one paycheck and save the other. Like I was very strategic. Yeah. I'm going to pay my car off. I'm going to sell my house. Like just all of the things that would create the opportunity to now do this, right? And I may not do this forever. Obviously, there's mostly pros, but there's a few cons, right? There's moments when I'm like, I just need to ground. I need to not fly for a little while. I need to be in the same place. I need to cook for myself and not eat out. Like there's a lot of those things. But really, I think the beautiful part of it is this space for freedom. And hopefully this will inspire some of you to be able to create a space for whatever the freedom looks like for you. You know, whatever that looks like. It may look very different. But again, I think it's having opportunity to do whatever you desire is where it's like, that is the magic carpet ride.
I love it. The last one thing that I want to add to that, which is so beautiful, is let's be responsible, because that's the good girl. The good girl comes in with that part of responsibility. Sometimes she took it too hard, like being so responsible and like living in that square. That's why she needs the wild woman to help her loosen up a little bit. Yep. But being responsible, it's so key for also create this life. And when I say responsible, it's also not like, oh, well, tomorrow I'm going to do this. No, you got to do the healing work around it. It's just not going to just happen. I mean, you and I, Haley, like I've done my share of healing, and every time something comes up, I do my work. I go and search for support. I call my friends who I know they can help me. I hire coaches. I keep I don't want to say this to sell the coaching. This is not what I'm saying. We need healing. Like these patterns are not just going to go because you just decide to do that. Like it just doesn't. You have to go through the experience in order to connect with the truth of who you are.
Right. And you also need to surround yourself with other sisters that see it. Right?
Yes.
Speak it.
Yes.
Right? That's one thing I just love and honor about you so much, Paula, is that, when I get to a place sometimes where I'm like, wow, that doesn't feel good. It feels like it's not true. Like something doesn't feel in alignment for me. And I can share that with you and say, wow, this is what's happening. Am I crazy? Like, because it feels like there's some not good energy or something's not right. And I feel like I need to address it, right? You're a truth speaker and a seer as well, just like me. I can't not stay in my truth. I can't not be in alignment or be in integrity. This doesn't feel good to me at all. And so I love and honor the fact that I can speak my truth to you and you can hold it and respond in a very lovely and loving way, but also fully truth, like always in the truth. And I think if more and more of us can be in our own truth and honest, super, super honest with who we are and what we want and what we're about, what we desire, and speak those desires to people that can safely hold that for us, that is an extraordinary gift. So thank you for doing that for me in my life and also for the lives of the women that you touch. So, okay, so we're close to time. I've loved every single second. I feel like I could talk to you all day, so maybe we'll have to do another episode at some point, but what an honor to have you here today and share your magic with the world. I appreciate I, again, appreciate and honor the work that you're doing and just who you are as a feminine leader. And I love you, and I can't wait to see you again soon. And thank you all for joining us today. And I'm looking forward to the next episode of Soul Sparkle Radio. Much love.
I love you so much, and I also honor what you do with the world, because your example of who you are just radiates and sparkles everywhere. So thank you for being my friend, and thank you for doing what you do and for creating this space.
Yay. I love you, friends. Okay. Mwah. Much love, everyone.